I was able to get approved for $80,965.64. What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Credit Plug channel, where we talk about how to build credit, how to establish relationships with banks, and most importantly, how to get you access to high limit credit funding. If you're new to our channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as smash the like button. So when it comes to high limit credit funding, this is definitely the video that you want to check out. So we're going to be talking about the Brex corporate card. Now, a lot of you might be familiar with Brex. I would say Brex is probably one of the most popular fintech expense management platforms as well as corporate charge cards. I would say Brex and Divvy are probably the leaders in the industry, but recently I decided, hey, let me try to apply for this now, and I was actually able to get approved. So I'm just going to share some data points in terms of the process I went through, required documentation, and then I'm gonna be sharing with you the limit that I was approved for. So overall, Brex is going to be very simple in terms of the process. So if any of you have applied to any other expense management platforms, it does plug into your banking activity. And I don't recall whether they use Plaid or Finicity, one of the two. So Plaid and Finicity, those are fintech service providers that allow lenders to be able to get real-time bank balances. So this is really going to be driven by the amount of income, money, your bank balances that are flowing through your business checking account. Now, one thing I do want to remind you guys is that in order to apply for this particular account or any type of business account, whether that's fintech, whether that's a business line of credit, a business loan, you need to have an actual business checking account. So not a personal checking account, not Cash App. I understand Cash App is very popular, but if you're going to use Cash App, there's nothing wrong with that, but just make sure that you have a business checking account on the back end. And in fact, I believe Cash App now does have business accounts, but either way, you want to make sure that income that you're generating through one of these different, apps like Cash App is flowing through a business bank account at the end of it. Don't just withdraw the money from your Cash App card. You want your income to flow through a business checking account, because a lot of lenders, they don't recognize Cash App. Even if you're generating income, you're not going to be able to use that income on any of these types of applications where you do have to plug into your banking activities. So you're going to need the business bank account. You're going to need your SS4 form from the IRS. So when you get your EIN, you get what's called an SS4, and that has your official employer identification number. You're also going to want to have your articles of organization handy. Sometimes they may ask for a certificate of good standing, and it's always good measure also to have things like an operating agreement. If you don't know where to get an operating agreement, you can go to Rocket Lawyer. They have a template you fill out and you can download an operating agreement. Last but not least, you'll also need some type of photo identification, whether that's a state ID, a passport, or a driver's license. And that's pretty much it. You're going to fill in your business information. They're going to verify a lot of that. You upload documents. They look into your banking activity, and from there, they'll be able to get you a decision. So I was recently able to get an approval. And another thing you have to also watch out, a lot of the Brex emails somehow make it to your spam folder. So if you apply and you don't see any emails, just double check your spam folder. It took about 3 business days in order for me to get a decision, and I was able to get an approval, fortunately. And this actually was one of the highest limits, if not the highest limit that I've gotten across any type of account. So I'm going to share that with you. So here we are. I'm logged into my Brex account, and just to kind of show you, I'll refresh this for anyone who might be a little skeptical. So I was able to get approved for $80,965.64, which is very bizarre. I would have thought they could have rounded it. It's just such a bizarre limit, right? The fact that they go as far as 64 cents, right? They couldn't just round it to the nearest dollar or the nearest $100, but this was the limit that I was able to get approved for. And one thing about the limits, it is a dynamic limit. So it's not a fixed limit. It can fluctuate based on your business bank account. So it can go in either direction. So if your deposits decrease or your income decreases, then so can your available credit limit. And the opposite, right? If you have more money flowing in, your deposits increase, then you can get a higher limit. Now, I'm not 100% sure like what all the data points are utilized to determine what your limit is, but just based on this odd type of, credit limit, I'm assuming, and this is just speculation, that they use some proportion of your bank balance to give you a credit limit. And this is something that I would say is probably more specific to Brex as well as probably Ramp. One of the reasons why they're able to give you such a high limit is because in order for you to even get approved, you're going to have to demonstrate that you have a certain amount of cash reserves. And generally, you're going to need to show that you have more money in your business checking account versus what they actually approve you for. So if you're getting approved for, like, let's say, 80,000, right? You're probably going to have more than that in your business bank account. And that's just a way for them to protect themselves and reduce their risk, because if they're giving you a higher limit than what you actually have in the bank, then that just wouldn't be smart underwriting. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. Now, not all fintechs are like that. Divvy, for example, I know for a fact you can get approved for a higher limit, even if you don't necessarily have that in your checking account. But if Brex, I could say, based on my firsthand data points, that seems to be the case. But again, I'm just speculating. I don't know exactly what percentage they'll give you in terms of a limit in relation to what you have in your business checking account. I was able to basically get a very high limit. And again, there's no hard credit check, right? Absolutely no hard credit check. And it doesn't even report on your personal credits. Depending on what your business model is, just remember, this is a 30-day pay in full. You're not going to take this and go purchase some long-term business expense. However, depending on your business model, I know certain business owners where they can turn over a certain amount of money every single month or every couple of weeks. Let's say if you have an e-commerce business and you want to purchase inventory and you're going to be able to turn that inventory over in a certain period of time, then this is a very, very powerful tool to be able to leverage OPM to grow and scale your business. Now, in my situation, would I ever really have a need for $80,000 to spend in a single month in short-term expenses? Probably not, especially not right now, but it's good to just have in your back pocket. So I just wanted to share this with you. And there's some other functionality in the platform. I'm not going to bore you guys because you've seen this with a lot of other reviews we've done: Divvy, Torpago, Brex, Ramp. It's all pretty much similar, right? You can integrate into your accounting software. Now, this is another underrated thing that a lot of people don't really talk about in terms of getting business funding. You're going to want to have QuickBooks set up, because even with some of these expense management platforms, they will require that you log into your QuickBooks account, and that's part of the underwriting. So it's not just your business checking account. They may also want to see QuickBooks, because QuickBooks is a way for you to actually see finances in terms of your income, your expenses, different reports such as your balance sheet, your profit and loss statements, your statement of cash flows. QuickBooks kind of integrates all that data together and makes more sense of it. So one of the things that you want to do if you do get approved for one of these types of accounts is, if you haven't already, sign up for QuickBooks. Now, you don't have to go with QuickBooks. That's just what I recommend. They have a lot of other accounting softwares. A lot of these other ones, I would say, like SAP, Expensify, NetSuite, those are probably going to be for like larger organizations. But if you're like a small business owner, you could definitely check out QuickBooks. So all you got to do is hit connect, and it automatically integrates with QuickBooks. So when you start using your corporate charge card, it'll pull all of that transaction data into QuickBooks. And this is important just to keep you organized as a business owner. You want to be able to provide financials, especially if you need to apply for a loan or a line of credit. A lot of lenders might want to see your balance sheet, and the worst thing you could probably do is try to track it in a spreadsheet or an Excel. When you have QuickBooks, QuickBooks pulls all your data in. It reduces the margin of error or making a mistake or having certain transactions, income or expenses not accounted for. So I just highly recommend having this, especially right now. It's tax preparation season. So you definitely want to have some way to better be able to organize your business information. So I just wanted to show this real quick. You could track your sales, your invoices. You can see what your cash flow is like, your expenses. You can even run payroll. That's another important thing you need as a small business. And you can run these different reports. So if you need a balance sheet, profit and loss, they have all different types of reports. So instead of trying to track it yourself, you could just click on one of these and it'll populate your balance sheet based on the information that you plugged into a QuickBooks. So all of your bank accounts, your credit cards, all of your information, it could basically integrate into QuickBooks. You can also check your cash flow, your expenses. If you're a small business owner, definitely make sure you have an accountant software. It just makes your life so much easier. If anyone has any of their own personal data points with Brex, definitely let me know in the comment section down below. I've dropped a link for anyone who is interested in applying. You could get a $250 gift card if you are approved. It also helps support the channel. So the link is in the description as well as pinned in the comment section. That's all I really wanted to cover in today's video. Let me know your comments, questions, or any data points in the comment section below. Till next time, take it easy and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.